So interlinked. It does not look right. Is it coming up on Facebook?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you're going to share all the messages. Or chat.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're getting the, proper subtitles. So I assume that's good.
Still have a minute. I'm going to watch.
You do that. Okay, so we'll see if this microphone is gonna work. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to talk louder. Good evening, I'm Reverend Karen. I will be your chairperson for this evening's service. Thanks to everyone for taking part in the quiet energy work portion of our service. Quiet energy work happens every Sunday prior to service. Your cooperation in building and maintaining this sacred space is greatly appreciated. Let's do an opening prayer. Divine Creator, thank you for overlighting us this evening. Thank you for imparting your wisdom to us so that we may spread that wisdom to others. As always, we look to you for guidance as we go about our duties and obligations as members of this church. Amen.
Yeah.
Shut up. First, we're going to do the universal greeting. This is new to you. Please watch the service workers here and follow along with the interactive hand movements. I offer you peace. I offer you friendship. I offer you love. I hear your needs. I see your beauty. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from a higher source. I salute that source in you. Let us work together. All right. Now we're going to say together the 9 principles of spiritualism. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after change-all death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul, here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in all sacred texts our divine attributes proven through mediumship. All right, so we're going to mostly do this as a regular service, but instead of a meditation, of course, this is our fireside chat. So we'll be answering any questions that you have about any spiritual path. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. We welcome your donations to help us maintain our presence in the community. You may donate via our website, circleoflightstl.org, or through our Facebook page. For those who use Amazon, please consider using smile.amazon.com and choose Circle of Light Independent Spiritualist Church in St. Louis as your nonprofit. Amazon will give us a small donation at no cost to you. We also collect donations for the Southwest Indian Foundation, which provides stoves and food baskets to Native Americans during the holiday season. Each year we allocate funds for them. If you'd like your donation to go specifically to that, just let us know when you donate. Of course, we thank you for your donations. All funds received help us in our mission to seek, develop, and teach the knowledge of the relationship between humanity and spirit. The crystal globe displayed here is filled with prayer and energy for healing Mother Earth and all the children. Everyone is welcome to contribute prayers for world peace and world healing, and we invite you to add your energies to this sacred sharing. We keep a wooden prayer request box. You are welcome to send us requests for healing. Throughout the week, light workers focus their energies on the prayers to add to this sacred act. We'll now say the prayer for spiritual healing, after which there will be a short silence for you to softly say the names of anyone that you would like to receive extra healing this week. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. Current announcements. As we said, this is going to be the fireside chat, so get your questions ready. Just to let you know, you probably won't be seeing me for a little while. After this Sunday, I'm going to get my second knee replacement surgery, so any energy that you could send to help me heal from that would be greatly appreciated. Coming up at the beginning of June, we have a pagan picnic. We will have a table there. That's that first weekend in June. I believe that's the 4th and 5th of June. Please come out and support us there. We'd love to see you. Yep, Cowgirl Park. Anything else?
Classes start June 8th.
Classes start June 8th. Contact us for more information.
I created the events on Facebook last week.
Yes, you did.
Or somewhere, first few events.
That's right. And I believe next week there is a meditation on beauty. Yes. Once again, we thank you for your donations. Now let's have a prayer over the offering. Divine Creator, thank you for your abundance. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be of service by sharing the abundance we have received with others. Let that expand, and let there be nobody in need. So let it be. We now come to the message portion of our service. The message worker that stands before you this evening develops his gifts so that he may be a clear channel for this work. Please actively listen to each message. As these come from universal source via our guides, they may be tailored for the individual, but they deliver wisdom to the whole. Please address questions about messages to the message bearer after the service. To welcome each of our spirit workers, we sing together to raise the vibrations in our circle. We view the word God as a universal term for deity rather than signifying any one particular path. Our message bearer this evening is Reverend William. Of course, he would like us to sing Amazing Grace, all verses. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me.
I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Thank you so very much. Another William we want to thank with Sarah, Mikael, Ellen, Thundercloud, Red Day Marcos. All names. William E. William, you have this, you're in a battle with this machine gun, in which the rounds are in that chain that gets fed into the gun, and you're in your last box. Spirit is saying accuracy, precision, don't waste your ammo. And, okay. In this conflict, this battle, you are encouraged to improve your accuracy and precision, aim for the target, like use the fundamentals you already know about breathing, focus, how to use the sight, etc. You know it's a machine gun, doesn't mean you have unlimited ammo, you just waste all of it shooting everything and maybe hit something. That's point number one. Point number two is soon you will realize it's only as much of a battle as you make it. Family. Okay. Interesting image of you on the floor looking closely at the carpet. And you're saying something's different about this carpet. And the Spirit's saying, yes, it is. There are times when you notice little things like that and you want validation. Hey, Karen, does this carpet look different? Karen's like, hell if I know. I don't think that's just stupid carpet. You're not going to get the validation. There's like a long road. This has been a long time coming of you learning to trust yourself. So do it. There are times you'll be wrong. Oh well. There are also times you'll be right. And kind of like the machine gun message, there will come a point at which being wrong or right doesn't even matter. It's about being true to yourself. Joyce. Okay, let's see where this goes. There's this old-fashioned water wheel. And we have to clarify, the water pushes the naturally flowing water pushes the wheel that powers the grain mill or whatever it powers. At the same time, there's a song, it's a rock song that goes, I'm a wheel, I can roll, I can feel. I'm the man on the silver mountain. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I have to pair this up with something I heard today. Long story short, this man said, I am releasing my will. Now, my first reaction was like, what? He said, I'm no longer trying to be willful. What he meant was, he is trying to release all the things he thinks he wants or thinks he knows, and more be in flow with his higher self, God, etc. Oh, that makes total sense. And so it is the same with the river or stream being flow. Let that power you instead of consciously, willfully turning the wheel and exerting yourself. Okay, Lois.
Yes.
So you've seen lawns that are very well manicured and have like a crosshatch pattern in the way they mow it back and forth. You're doing this out in a wheat field. Okay, so winter wheat is one of the first crops to be harvested in this part of the world. So this year, when you're bringing in the winter wheat, it's called winter wheat because it actually is planted in the fall. It's pretty much dormant all winter, comes up as soon as the spring thaw hits. And it's, again, one of the first crops to be harvested. Then you can actually plant another crop on top of that. What they're saying is, when you bring in the winter wheat, like late spring, early summer, be especially mindful about it, and what do you call that? Like make it a ceremony, make it special. Don't just hack it off and carry it inside and huge cash. Okay, remember Karen? There's something you've been really bothered by is the right word, but like you have this it's like think of like a stiff wire, like a wire hanger, but it's like about that long and sticking straight up, and there's all these little beads on there. You're trying to hold the beads up and do something. And it's just working against gravity is like so infuriating. These things keep falling, and well, just do it differently. Quit doing it the way the instructions say and the way you were taught. Flip it upside down. Do something totally different to achieve your goal. And it's going to be a matter that's been really pestering me. Okay? Thank you for allowing me to stand between the rules.
All right. Now, as we said, this is an opportunity for people to ask questions.
Do you have any?
Hi, Deb.
Okay.
Good.
Ready?
Let's go.
How do I trust?
How do I trust?
How do I learn to trust? The person when I first saw this was very open-ended and said, how do I trust? Now, my first answer was, get real, get honest about the reality that you will be. People get hurt, it's just a matter, it's just a way of life, it's just a fact of life. is that you will trust people, that trust will be broken, and stuff happens. What do you have to say about it?
There are people that have been through significant amounts of trauma. And they find it, they have lost their connection with themselves in that they have forgotten how to trust because they've been told that their feelings are invalid. And so there's a healing that people go through where they learn to not invalidate their feelings. That gives them the space to be able to trust again. With the idea that getting wounded is not catastrophic like it used to be. That it is okay to make those mistakes. And it's a matter of just learning to get back in touch with your gut feelings. When you are encountering people, I think a lot of people no longer recognize that they're thinking with their head, but their gut is telling them that something is not right. And they've lost touch with the idea that that's something that they can trust. You know, your gut has its own brain, for lack of a better term. It's sending signals to you. It's letting you know that something doesn't feel right. And don't dismiss that tool. That is an important tool for you to use to know whether somebody is somebody that you feel you can trust.
So the advice of what we want to do. Trust your feelings.
That's right. You know it to be true.
What else talking about? Pair that up with a different George Lucas movie, Indiana Jones. The famous scene in which he comes to this abyss and he's following these Bible passages or something. There's these certain things, but anyway, it's about faith. It's faith, faith, faith. And he has to finally think, it looks like a sheer cliff into nothing. It looks like absolute, it's like the fool part. He takes that step, it's optical illusion. There is actually a bridge there. He can walk across and get what he needs, the Holy Grail to save his dad. Ooh, how totally the Holy Grail to save his father, God. Okay, so there is what you said, trusting your gut, trusting yourself. Also, how do you fit faith into something beyond yourself, whether you call it God or not? I said you wish you would have studied for this.
You know, they never told me there was going to be a test.
Right.
You know, that's another area where people lose their ability to trust that there is that higher power. When so many things have gone badly for you, it's difficult to think that that there is a higher power that is allowing that to happen to you. You are guided. Whenever you seek help, help will come. It may not come in the form you expect, but help will come. But the important part is asking. A lot of people, when they become traumatized, they no longer feel that they can ask. They are somehow so polluted in some way that they are no longer worthy.
Mm-hmm.
You are always worthy. The help is always available. And there is no one who is truly irredeemable. For some, they take more than others, but nobody is completely irredeemable. I think having faith in that higher power tends to be predicated on having some level of faith in yourself. And that can be difficult for some people, I completely understand. But just to hold on to the idea that you are worthy. That's why you exist. You would not exist were you not worthy.
I would also say to that, what is life for? Why do we incarnate into human bodies and have this existence on the physical plane? Well, I think the most fundamental answer is to learn. So, I mean, you can see this easily in children. Like, you tell a child no so many times, they quit asking and they give up instead of learning what let's say bad parenting 101. You know, the parent just says no, 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 I'm in the middle of whatever, go find something to do. If the parent would explain to the child, help the child understand the why, and they can incorporate the why, have an understanding instead of just being scared at it. Well, now you're an adult. You don't have mom or daddy to explain why. You have to just, unless you have a better answer, figure it out. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do you keep yourself in these situations?
Yeah, I mean, your life is predicated on the choices that you make each moment. You know, we're here to have an adventure. You know, we are always changing and evolving, just as everything that exists in the universe is changing and evolving, and gaining more experience. That's why we incarnate. If we had learned everything, we wouldn't be here. So, you know, accept that you don't know everything. Go out and try to suck up as much knowledge as you can, have adventures, take chances. Know that there are endless opportunities, either in this lifetime, in the next life, in the next million lifetimes. Okay, you know, when you play a video game and you bomb out right away, you say, "Oh, I can't do it," and you never play again. No, you boot that thing back up and you try again. Well,
That's excellent because you get like another life.
That's right. Well, why would you think that our existence on this plane is any different? I mean, people have started to wonder if we're not in a simulation. But from my perspective, it doesn't matter. They're just like in a video game, we can always get another life and try again and get further along in the game. So, living in fear is a pointless exercise.
There's a kids movie. Where these characters are in a video game.
Come on.
Well, that's a board game. It's kind of, which those you know, I'm Jesus Tron. But a few years ago, there was this one where there was a little girl and a man, and the man was like this Donkey Kong guy. They trying to climb up.
Oh, Wreck-It Ralph.
That's it, Wreck-It Ralph. That's a great analogy.
Oh, yeah.
That is a great one. They're literally, what you just described is like how that was like the plot of the movie.
That's right. He wants to be something else other than just the Wreck-It Ralph.
Another fantastic one is Soul. Did you watch Soul?
I have not. I don't have disciplines.
Go now.
I don't have
No,
disciplines.
it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, or like, what's the one with the girl going through puberty? Inside Out?
Inside Out. Another really good one.
Yeah.
Really good. And so a few weeks ago, I heard this quote, which I think originally came from the Kabbalah. Certainty is the greatest sin.
Yeah.
Let that percolate.
Yeah.
I am so sure about this and sure about that. The hell you are.
Well, it allows more room for change.
Right? Exactly. And then today, in a discussion, I raised that quote. I brought up that quote. And this guy, Paul, said, in the legend of King Arthur and Round Table and all that, in order to become a knight, you had to go out into the dark forest and take no path. You had to go away that nothing gone before.
Mm-hmm.
That was the West.
Well, yeah. Well, also in the legend of the Green Knight, it was only when the knight divested himself of all of his armor
Yes.
and allowed himself to be vulnerable that he was totally safe.
Exactly. The way I heard that was a person that did that, and he was the one that pulled the grail and saved the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a story, don't even know.
That's right.
But all these myths, I just read this fantastic, the past two books I've read of it, just fantastic. Right now I'm reading The Wise Heart, which is about Buddhist psychology, written by Jack Kornfield, who's one of the, was he one of the Soup for the Soul authors? Fantastic. Before that was LSD in the Mind of the Universe by Christopher Bache, B-A-C-H-E. And he talks about going through these levels of mind. Like what we do, talking to spirit guides, he would call that, and a lot of these people who are into this stuff, we call that the archetypal level.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the archetypal level talking to a personified god or goddess, a spirit guide, even level of the spirit in the archetypal level, because the way they describe it, an archetypal level is a big level. And you could even break that down into sub-levels. But that's just the archetypal level. What levels are there, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. Above that is oneness, the actual God level, where you're beyond personified God. And you're into oneness. Well, what's the risk of entering oneness? Well, the risk is loss of self. That's why people have a hard time with it. Because if I'm entering oneness, there is no more me. If there's no me, then, meltdown, and I'm in the psyche.
That's the one thing that gets me. Although I could consciously say that I, as a greater being, do not fear death in the way that dropping this body is,
Mm-hmm.
because that which is truly me continues to exist. That which is part of my personality self, that ego that I have while I'm in this form, every time I think about dying and dropping this form, my stomach flops over.
Oh,
Every time. Very uncomfortable. So, even when you know that you will continue to exist, that personality that you have at this particular time, in this particular incarnation, is like, whoa, hold up here.
after what?
Yeah.
You know what?
I have to stop existing. Hang on now. So, yeah. What else? Why are we on a non-traditional path rather than a traditional one? There are so many traditional paths to choose from.
Well, I'll give my example. I was raised Catholic, so I was indoctrinated at an early age, and then I'm already raised. Let me just tell myself. So, yes. What's fair to say? Let me start with this. When I talk about what I do, people often want a story of I was the seventh son of gypsy from Pennsylvania. I was struck by lightning on my 21st birthday. Some fantastic thing happened. I'm like, nope, I just learned I had that before. And I think this story is similar in that, like, on the one hand, I've always been that person who questions everything, doesn't take things for granted. So even like in catechism in grade school, I was the one kid like, are you guys buying all this shit? Am I the only one who doesn't think this is right? No. But I also liked Catholic Church. I liked the ritual. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a priest. I felt so awesome to be that person who's an intermediary between the people and God and all that. And then, well, besides, I remember the Catholic Church in general, stuff that we'll talk about, but there's also just the religion itself, and like, why are you him?
Right.
So that's my main. And then I was in college, out of my parents' house. It was much easier to say, I'm not going to the church anymore. And I pretty quickly found spiritualism. It took me a while to get the circle of light. I didn't get here until I was about almost 30. But in between there, I was definitely interested in what I didn't even know it was called spiritualism.
Well, I didn't find something like till I was just about 40, so.
So you only been a couple of years.
Um,
If I can answer that question more fully, is that this is more real than any other religion I've dabbled in. And I think spiritualism is like Buddhism in that it's really not a religion. I mean, the Dalai Lama himself says, Buddhism is not a religion.
No.
You can worship the Buddha if you want, but I'm not saying it's religion, basically. And I would say the same thing about spiritualism. At what point in our service do we worship? We don't say, all hail the mighty spirit guide. No, we're here for, so that brings up the, like, why do you communicate with spirit? kind of like the, what I would call the bottom tier, like the most fundamental, the most basic is, this is real. We communicate with spirit to know that spirit is something we communicate with, right? And then beyond that, it's like all kinds of spiritual growth.
Mhm. Traditional paths have their rituals, which sort of bind them and reinforce them, which you could take as a particular type of indoctrination. So when you are expected to follow that particular path, deviation is not acceptable. There is a path laid out for you, and it is your job to stay on it. Spiritualism says that all paths are valid, and your path is your path. It's not anybody else's path. And how you want to go down that road, you make that road as you go down it. And however you want to do it, that's entirely up to you. Part of the Protestant Reformation, the original idea of the Protestant Reformation, was that you didn't need an intermediary between you and God. That's why they wanted their followers to be literate, so they could read the Bible on their own. That's why they wanted translations in the vernacular, so they could read the Bible on their own and forge their own relationship with the divinity. Just like everything else in traditional religious paths, it still ended up getting mucked up with social conventions and traditional structures that people were familiar with. So there still ended up being a pastor who served as an intermediary in some way. And there still ended up being a defined path. My main beef about traditional religions is that all this social stuff has gotten piled on top of it. If you strip away, and that's the one part and that's what people don't want you to do if you're in a traditional religion, is strip away all the social stuff that's been put on top of it. But if you strip it away, you're back to everybody following the same path, which is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which is be excellent to one another. If people would just be excellent to one another, that's the fundamental basis of most defined religions, and I think that's sort of where we're coming from too, is trying to find the higher part of ourselves and connect with the higher part of you, because that's where we're all connected.
So,
Well, it's 27. So, nope. All right.
Good enough.
Good enough. Let's have a closing prayer. Divine Creator, thank you for letting us commune with you for a little bit and imparting wisdom that you have given to us so that we may spread it far and wide. Let that guide us as we move through the days to come. So, Lord, thank you all for being in our circle of light. Please stand with us in unity. So stand with their feet on. Oh, if we can all stand. Oh, 4 days people. Let there be peace on earth
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Virtual hugs, everyone.
Hug time. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, friends.